to play around if he does offer the Radiance route, which still is pretty typical for the L. Let's see, that is something he wants to pick up, as we do have our game on hand. First game of the day here on the Earth Spirit stream for DreamLeague 22. Again, going to be interesting to see Heroic up against international teams. Just not something we've seen too much of from them just yet. I do want to see them to play up-tempo, though.
Oh, of course. Up-tempo is the way we like it. We are going to see both teams already grouped up down towards the south side of the map. Lines are being drawn towards the top side here by Heroic. Not sure if they're actually going to make the move up towards that area, but if they wanted the fight, they'd much rather stick around this area. Seems like they will end up slowly moving up. With some of that was scouted out here by the ward placed on that dire high ground, so K1 should have been spotted going to that top side area. VP not really too interested in fighting with their own draft, of course. It is a rather weak level 1 draft to try and fight with. Do we even see a fight? Probably not. Maybe Analog and KJ could start something here with Squadix, but it doesn't really seem like it. Squadix just going to ban himself up, rather remove himself from that scenario, as we do get a 3-for-1 trade. So Bannerins are going to be in the favor of Heroic.
Yeah, a little bit more for them to play with, but they do manage to get that early D ward here for Virtus.pro, unblocking the camp as well. And just getting a little bit more gold flam for Sayu, which can feel good. Already cutting that wave just a little bit. Notice hasn't picked up the Devour to eat a creep, but does manage to block it in, so maybe drag it a little bit closer to the tier 1 than you'd want. Level 1 for KJ doesn't feel great trading in to the Doom and Shadow Demon. Hasn't quite leveled anything up yet, so still could go for the heal if he just wants to sustain in lane. But there's a lot of early pressure that you can pump out here with Sayu. Still taking a look at that mid lane, our Puck versus Void Spirit matchup. Again, this is something that we've seen, not in the last year, but certainly in the past DPC season, something that was very common of a matchup. Does feel like the Void Spirit feels pretty good. Big timings really build up into level 6. Whoever does have that slight EXP advantage can run away with the lane, but early rotations around the 4, 5, 6 minute mark can start to play around there. But in terms of just clearing out the wave, a little bit easier for the Puck, but not by a huge margin. Should still be mildly playable for Analog as he goes into 2-3 here.
Yeah, I'd say so. Top lane, of course. Kiritich and FNG going at it here with Divine Llama and Schofield. Right now, pretty good for Kiritich. Not really much pressure being applied at the top lane here by Divine Llama and Schofield quite yet. See, that level 3 mark is probably going to be the point where you get a little bit more worried as the arc here against the Kunkka, but FNG is doing a pretty damn good job of just kind of forcing them back here with the Eidolons. So he is going to lose them now, but it doesn't really matter too much. The Enigma is creating some great space here for the arc.
That he is. Just ensuring that he cops the attention, the Eidolons cop all of that damage.
Oh,
He's starting to play aggressive here.
Yeah, stunned up. Kiritich going to find first blood. It's just that easy. Kiritich with the stun connecting on the hoodwink. And Schofield, he just wasn't ready for it.
And you do have to respect just how much damage Acid Spray enables with the Unstable Concoction, with even the Eidolons that can come out later on. Just the right-click trades don't feel good when you're under that control. And already setting themselves up for a pretty good pacing here for Kiritich up top. Down bot, we were seeing quite a few heavy trades coming on to KJ. Hector is still farming decently well. They have managed to hold back notice, but we have seen this from Doom lanes. It doesn't feel like it matters as much when Doom can always fall back to Devour, despite, you know, Devour being nerfed a couple of times as well. Really great nice from Squadix.
Oh, he's getting everything here, John. Squadix finding the courier, finding both water runes being denied by the Puck. He doesn't even pick the other one up. He just denies, just doesn't want it. Both of them are gone. Now bottom lane. Chase onto K1. K1's down. Notice looking for another. Will chase onto KJ. KJ, oh, he's going to go for a run. Notice will eventually give up on the chase. But another big pickup coming out for VP as they do find a secondary kill here on the map. And that was the POS1 Weaver going down.
Just big wins for VP in the laning phase. Still maintaining that tempo up top there as well, but the movement down bot gonna cut off K1 quite a fair bit. He is going for the Dragon Lance into Maelstrom, which is more of the safe bet. Not gonna be pressured to play as fast. Although again, there's a timing here with the Javelin that we have seen from other Weavers where they still make an aggressive rotation once you do have the Javelin up. But so far, VP, every lane just looking shining for them, like mid lane.
Oh boy. Yeah, you just said that every lane was shining, John. Mid lane, Squadix just really kind of nails the point. So he does take down Analog completely solo here on the Void Spirit, and that is not very good news if you are Heroic. The Virtus.pro, I mean, already, in fact, top lane even. FNG finally going down, so they do get one on the side of Heroic. Though I was about to say, John, VP as an organization has always been pretty good at getting players that do secure a laning stage pretty much every single time. And it seems like nothing's really changed here. It's KJ. It's going to find notice, so perhaps I've jinxed VP now.
As you tend to do, Mike. You know, the moment you start praising one, they start to drop a couple of heroes. It's not in the script.
Here we go again. Kiritic now going down. Divine Llama fights him. Well, what have I done now, John? I've done something, haven't I?
You do this every single time to the Eastern European teams. Every time you start praising them, this happens, man. You made an oath when we catch up team games.
They get very shy, don't they, John? They're just being praised, you know? They start blushing, these guys, and they start kind of acting up.
I suppose. Good openings being found by Heroic, though, to balance out the laning phase just a bit more. And it does manage to get some equalization, especially for Hector down bot. I think that's the big one. The mid lane is the one that hasn't really recovered. Your side lanes are tied in, so you can't really expect any rotation to come in to help out Analog. And we are inching into that level 6 marker. Squadix is going to have a much faster 6. Threat of Dream Coil onto Analog, no way to escape. Lots of damage can pump in. If you can get one of your supports to rotate out from VP, it's not going to take too much to kill off Analog pre-6. Like, without the step, doesn't even have the dissimulate to try to save himself. Lots of options for VP to just collapse.
That's what I was kind of saying earlier, right? Like, oh, here we go. Our admin stepping in right away. No messing around. Love to see that. We need some answers here, ladies and gentlemen. What's the pause for, boys? And I was going to say as well, John, I mean, for the Analog Void Spirit, like, the sub-patch did not touch Void Spirit at all. Do you think Void Spirit is a better hero in this new sub-patch, or do you think it might be worse?
I don't think it's better. You know, some of the items that would make Void Spirit viable, like Mage Slayer, got slightly touched down. Maybe something like Kaya Sange can feel pretty good for Void Spirit if you wanted to go that route. With a Witchblade, I think that can still line up. I wouldn't say it's in much of a better position. I think this here is still mildly underwhelming, but we'll see what Analog can do. So far in the laning phase, not the best. Again, this is something that in the past, in the heyday of Void Spirit, we've seen Void Spirit, you know, draw even, maybe get a slight lead if the illusory orb harassment doesn't connect, but Squadix just controlling those runes early has made it a massive pain for Analog. And again, with how your side lanes are, you have no relief here for Analog. You can't rotate in with your Enchantress. You can't rotate in with your Hoodwink, who can do a lot to set up for a good remnant out and a rundown onto the puck early, but you know, with how much pressure is on the side lanes, you don't have room for that here.
That you do not. We are going to have the reconnection coming out here from Analog, so see if he can kind of reset his own lane here, because he is 7 CS behind right now, 1 death behind the puck as well, and of course there was some claims that input lag was happening because of the camera, but hopefully Analog gets that resolved so he can have himself a good game. The Divine Llama also having issues apparently. We'll quickly disconnect from the game. Not sure what his problem is, but I'm sure we'll find out rather soon. Still, it is a 3-3 kind of situation. Very slight net worth lead of AVP, which is to be expected as they do have an Alchemist. At the very least, Heroic has done a very good job of evening out the kill scoreboard here, as it was 0-3 at one stage. Not so much anymore, but it still does feel like VP are well and truly ahead in terms of the laning phase, though it's still very close. It's nothing to write home about here, John. It's just very, very slight net worth lead. Nothing really happening quite yet.
Yeah, again, I feel like it all explodes once you get level 6 up on Squadix. If you can rotate into a lane or get the rotation onto mid, they can build off of that. Maybe try to connect. I feel like a connection top or bot would be best instead of collapsing onto mid. Just try to build up, get a push onto the side lanes, try to get some control in the further part of the jungle, reach in, prevent some build up for Hector in his recovery here, and start to shut down the map a little bit more, open it up for Kiritic to feel safer in his top jungle, and play off of that. Speaking of why Divine Llama disconnect, Mike, I think he heard you talk about throat singing. You know? I think he heard your comments. He's like, oh, crap, these two guys are in the lobby. This guy doesn't like my throat singing.
He can call me out anytime, John. You know, if we ever get an interview with the man, he can call me out for my comments anytime. I will defend myself as well, John. I'll double down. Live on an interview against him. I don't care. I will stand by my words. I don't care about the cultural
is that-
significance of throat singing, John. What is it, John?
Nah, it's not.
Why is that the hill? You choose the weirdest hills to die on.
Because
That's like,
that was your fault. Because you kept throat singing. And you kept linking me throat singing videos. And I kept telling you that I don't like it. So now I've got a vendetta against them because of you.
you can't fix a lack of taste, Mike. You know? You just can't. There's no fix for that. I'm sorry.
Don't mind.
It's just no correcting that. Do get the go-ahead and get the unpause as well. We're back into the game. The Vailama has sufficiently throat sung and pause.
I'll say
Collapsing bot, though.
that's a lot of damage on Seiyu. He'll go for a disruption to try and survive, but K1's going to be right there, and I'll try to push him away as well. It just will not make the difference. That's the rotation out from Schofield and KJ to make sure that one does end up working out. See, you still miss out on the off-lane Doom, but it won't matter too much. You are securing K1's lane, and that's all they really care about.
Yeah, making it a little bit easier for you to play on the Weaver. And starting to get some action across the map. That does lead into a bottle refill mid for Squadix at the level 6 mark. Before Analog has his 6, but he's not too far off now, just to creep away. So, does have some play here on Void Spirit. Supports are camping mid, though.
Yeah, they are going to try and go for a jump in here. Analog may have gone a bit too far, but he does have another Astral Step charge going right into Seiyu, but now they do have the coil to lock him down. Seiyu's still trying to just survive Analog's damage output as they do get Schofield down. The Seiyu still in danger, does get hit and does die, but now Analog needs a way out. He's running out of time. He's got an Astral Step charge in 3 seconds, but he's not going to get the chance. And all of that for nothing, as the Arcane Rune was up top anyway. So KJ is going to go ahead and take it for himself. A very good trade once again for VP.
It is costly, drags a lot of heroes onto the mid, but this is the timing we were looking for. Squadix having 6 ready, having that Dream Coil, making that move onto Analog. Doesn't quite have the big level advantage we were looking at. Down bot though, Notice left alone isn't the healthiest. Has managed to survive with a little bit of HP, but it is opening up much more for Hector now. The Doom alone can't really stop the Weaver from just dancing around in that lane. Even the stacks that Sayu is trying to build, constantly tracked by Heroic here.
They're trying to get the Wisdom Rune away, but Schofield won't be so lucky. Schofield missing out this time around. 1 Wisdom Rune either way. They have forced Kiritich out of the laning stage now. Kiritich just in the jungle as the Vailama's already started onto the top tier 1 tower. This is very annoying as KJ just consistently following the arc around, trying to get the vision over with the enchanted creeps. Though now it looks like he will just focus onto the tier 1 top tower instead. But there's nothing Kiritich can really do about this. He's still CS very effectively though on the Alchemist. In fact, he's going to run in. Chemical Rage is popped. Squadix is going to rotate. They'll go right after KJ. And KJ, oh, he's gone. Squadix with a very nice rotation, able to find himself a pick-off. Will not scout out the Vailama, but won't really matter anyway. In fact, Devi is going to show himself against the puck. But ultimately, it just doesn't matter. They don't want the... In fact, they do want the fight. Kiritich is going to run in. Has the stun channeled up. Does land onto the Vailama. And the Enigma just cutting him off to boots. So the Vailama getting punished for the aggressive positioning. And I thought he was just able to walk out of there. But FNG shows up out of nowhere.
Really good positioning out from FNG to cut off that chase. They are trying to punish bot with all of that commitment up top. Noticed? Acorn shot is out. Noticed in a pretty big bunch of dangers. Yeah, they'll be able to take him out no problem, I think. He'll try to hurricane his way away. Bushwhack is available, but Schofield does not have an Acorn shot to throw. Notice still running, but the Bushwhack is going to land very nicely. Meanwhile, middle lane, though, Analog going down again. Squadix able to pick up his 4th kill of the game here on the park. And this Void, that's his 3rd death already. We're not even 10 minutes in yet, John. Yeah, it's a rough time for Analog. And you can kind of see why the hero's just not been the best. Its output doesn't feel great, its durability up front doesn't feel great. It has a lot of items it really needs to have that impact. Power Tread's not even up yet on Analog. And one shining point is you're slowing down a Doom, but that's a Doom you're slowing down. Always has Devour to fall back into. You've got the Midas being queued up here as well from Notice. Meanwhile, Kiritich is getting a lot more space out on the Alc, building up that lead you want to see on this hero. Radiant's timing not going to be too far off. Only about 400 gold away for the Sacred Relic. And he still has complete control on his top jungle.
And then there's a big group up again here onto Divine Llama. I say big group up, it's only really two. It's Sayu and Kiritic. In fact, KD is going to show up now to Divine Llama. Nope, never mind. Here comes SquadX. I was about to say, maybe they need to watch out for Kiritic, but SquadX just all over the map. Perhaps able to secure another kill as Divine Llama. Not going to be able to survive the output. Now this mid puck doing so much work in this game one. Onto another kill now, and there's just no slowing this guy down.
It kind of goes back to how do you control the puck, right? Like, because you don't have that piece of control really ready on hand. Kiritic left alone, though.
That is a lot of damage being dealt onto Kiritic. Bushwhack is going to barely land, but they missed out on the damage output. It's just not there. I think if Schofield had gone for the Bushwhack a little bit earlier, they might have actually had that. But he does hold out a little bit, and perhaps it does cost them.
And it does. They've got some good stacks as well in that top jungle area for Kiritic to just build into. Radiant's timing now, just 900 gold away from the Talisman of Evasion. So he's going to be online and just farming like a maniac in Kiritic. They're finally applying some map pressure on Heroic, taking up this top tier 1. Should allow that forward wards to try to stop Kiritic, but they're protecting this old jungle instead of the new jungle. And they've already gotten sentries down. They're keeping Kiritic as safe as possible. Still trying to force their way in, though.
Yeah, SquadX and Sayu are going to hang around. Here comes Divine Llama, trying to find an X. Won't be able to quite get it off as they do move on to SquadX instead, but SquadX will just jaunt away with an orb. A Heroic, nice Bushwhack is going to land onto the Shadow Demon, so they do get one. Sayu is down. FNG, he was right around the corner, but did not have Black Hole available. Was on cooldown for another 20. So Heroic, they are at least able to capitalize onto one support. Looks like they want to try for the Doom down at bottom lane as well. Why the hell not? They'll scout out the triangle first, see if there's any stacks being made. They'll find a double stack on the Ancients. But it seems as though Noticed is the big target they actually want. Though Noticed seems to have actually noticed that they are around this area, so he will retreat. And Heroic, well, they will continue to try and apply pressure here on the map, but VP are doing a pretty good job of just sitting back and relaxing. They're still finding farm in the jungle, they're not really getting caught out. And Heroic, they are using a lot of time for this smoke to try and find a kill, but even SquadX not getting caught at all.
Oh, man.
Able to juke out the initial Bushwhack, and well, now maybe FNG goes down. FNG showing up. Does get caught, but I would not really say it's worth their time.
Certainly not. It's a lot of commitment out from Heroic to get that pick off. It is an important kill for Analog to find, to build into this mage layer he's trying to work into. And they did manage to get a block on the triangle Ancient as well through that smoke. So they've gotten some things on the map, just not enough to really slow down VP. Again, Kiritic is free farming with the Radiance. Not going to be long until he's fully built in for that time to fight with the BKB, and the Assault Cure is coming in with Blink. Even the recovery for Notice, like sure, he's died a couple of times. He's got the Midas recipe already up. The Glove of Haste isn't too far off. And once that's up, like, this guy's just going to be catching back up. Bottom left for core right now, but as a Doom, recovery doesn't take long. And for the side of Heroic, they're inching into this time. They've got the early Maelstrom on Hector, but he's not ready to roll around just yet. VP with a smoke out, though, up top.
Yeah, Schofield going to try and just break the smoke for his off lane. Will allow at least the Kunkka to run, though Kiritic does actually land a stun onto Divine Llama, so perhaps not Divine. Not out of the woods quite yet. Will continue to run away, but Kiritic, he's got the Radiance up, but with the corrosive weaponry, it's just too much slow coming out, so SquadX able to pick up a double kill for himself under the puck. I mean, you're trying so hard to get these kills in this farm going on Heroic, but just, it feels like every single time VP is able to find the better kind of trades for themselves.
That they are. And they're invading this triangle area on Heroic at the very least, cutting off these stacks on the Ancients, but it's not the most important thing. Kiritic still has complete control up top, despite losing his tier 1. No forward wards being dropped there from Heroic earlier on either. FNG?
Oh, they're going to try and find the inch. Almost going down. FNG in the meantime does also drop. So 1-for-1. KJ and FNG both dropping. Support for a support trade. Heroic still doing a pretty damn good job of being aggressive with their positioning, just denying the triangle away from Virtus.pro, but it almost feels like they don't care. Like, Kiritic has not even tried to make his way over to that area. He's been very happy at the northern side of the jungle.
Yeah, he knows they haven't boarded that top area. They just haven't rotated into that spot in a successful manner yet. They keep getting cut off in the normal top jungle area, the old jungle, and it makes it hard to just get that information, get that timing to rotate onto the Alk, who again has a little bit more evasion to play with as well, so bursting him down, right clicks doesn't feel as great. 5% is not an insignificant figure buff for Radiant. And I think the one concern for Heroic, we talked about this lineup needing a lot of early tempo. As this game scales on, you know, you have to worry about just the threat of Black Hole, not having BKB Pierce, if that's something FNG can farm up into. How do you hold down this puck? On Squadix, already an issue now, has the blink up as well to further chase. They aren't the most successful in the smoke, but maybe find Schofield. Not the big kill they'd want. Schofield has also managed to block camps and drop a couple of wards. So some of that information that was lacking for Heroic is in play now from this movement.
I mean, at the very least, he has blocked a lot of camps, so it should be very uncomfortable at this point for the Alchemist to stick around as Schofield. Still blocking camps here with sentries, though it does finally get caught. They will find the pesky Squirrel, but it's a lot of impact. He's blocked 3 camps in that time. That's not bad at all. Against an Alchemist, that's exactly what you want to get done. See what Kiritich does to respond to this.
He could just switch his position. They haven't cleared bot tier 1, so he can't switch to a more aggressive farming location. Devi?
Yeah, he's very far forward here, Devi Llama. He's going to have Analog trying to jump in and help out, though. Analog misses everything, and now the Doom and the Black Hole committed. They have got the Void Spirit locked out. He's going to try to go for a cheeky run. Meanwhile, KG trying to get some damage off onto Notice, but he's been dream called up. He's in trouble. They do at least take down the Doom, but they'll find the Ench. K1 even trying to get out himself, but Kiritich now of the chase. So is Squadix. They might have themselves a Weaver, and they do. 4 down for the side of Heroic, only 1 being lost for VP. A fantastic team fight for the Dire side once again. And this is with Kiritich not being online yet, John. He just picked up a BKB. He's been playing with the Radiance pretty much this whole game. And, you know, once the items are off from the Alchemist, I just don't know how you're going to deal with this team.
Yeah, it kind of goes back into that raft, right? Like when the Alch comes out with the heroes that you picked early on from Heroic, how do you do damage to the Alchemist? There's no magical burst to kind of take care of him early. No one that naturally builds, say, a way of stopping HP regen that fast here either. No one going for the Spirit Vessel at all. So you have a lot of room to just play. Again, you have a lot of good saves as well. Positioning here from VP, creating 2 distinct fight zones. You know, one with literally everyone else and one with just Kiritich standing forward. Ensures that they have to split targeting on Heroic. They can't just fully go all in on the Alk, put all of the save in the back. So Analog has to jump the back line, but there's no follow-through. It's just a rough go. There's enough hold here for the Weaver or the Void Spirit when they do commit into the back line. They'll try for a Roshan.
Yeah, they're going to try for Roshan. It's a bit of an interesting attempt, I suppose. The Heroic should be able to get away with this, though. It's one of those things. Like VP, they used a lot of spells that last team fight. They have not the next 5 minutes here for Heroic. We shall see. I still have my doubts based off what we've seen throughout this game once so far. Mid lane. They almost lose Schofield. In fact, Kiritich is still hanging around. Kiritich is going to jump in for the tier 1 tower. Does take it for himself. TP's in from Divine Llama. In fact, more TP's now coming as KJ does join in to boot. But it seems as though VP are the ones trying to get perhaps a little bit more aggressive. That they will eventually leave the area. Again, I mean, Heroic, they're the ones with the Aegis up. I'm very curious to see how they make this one work.
I feel like it's going to be a little bit more of a farming Aegis for Heroic. Like, they can't necessarily apply all that much pressure onto the tier 2s just yet. Maybe once you hit this timing into the Lincolns here, for Hector, he starts to feel safer about being up front. Doesn't have to worry about the Doom instantly locking him. Can try to dodge out from Malefice as well. So there's a little bit more play for the Weaver to utilize that second life, but this movement out from VP, very clean. Taking care of that mid-tier 1, allowing a little bit more reach into that bottom area of the map across the river, and still buying space for the Alp. Like, it's concerning. Hyperstone up, full Assault Curious not too far off. You've gotten full recovery for Notice. He was bottomed at core by at least 1,000 gold or 500. Now is at least matching Divide Llama and Analog. Doom's certainly ready to go as well with full BKB up. And these are a lot of painful tools that the side of Heroic aren't necessarily the most well equipped for. Like, again, how do you start these fights on Heroic? You try to jump the supports, you could, but at that point, VP is probably disengaging or just not even clumped up with her supports anyway. He tried to jump the front line. The puck is too hard to pin down at this point. There's a lot of HP playing here for Kiritic and...
Oh, K1.
Oh?
K1's going to be very careful. They'll commit the Doom. K1, I mean, he does have the Aegis up. He's got Schofield right behind him as they almost find... In fact, they do find Squadix.
Squadix?
Squadix gets caught out. Squadix is down. Notice going to BKB TP out. And that is your Aegis being expended. So a lot of gold going back the way of Schofield, of all people. Finding about 1.4k gold out of that kill here on the Hoodwink. Not bad whatsoever. And Heroic, now it looks like they can pressure this T2 top tower.
And they lose Aegis, but that costs Doom, that costs a big death on Squadix. A huge streak for Schofield. That's actually massive. That's the...
That's huge.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, Squadix. Again, Squadix. He's going to avoid the boat, but the Torrent Storm is incoming. He will be able to blink out, though. Squadix is alive. Sharpshooter will not land onto the puck. In fact, now the turnaround is there onto K1, though K1 is successfully just casually able to walk away. Here come the cavalry. Kiritic now going to show up. They do still have Devi Llama locked down. The Devi is more than happy to tank through the damage and let the rest of his team back out of there. And he will. So still a good bunch of kills coming out here for the side of VP. Though it does seem like Heroic now officially might be online. So K1 is proving to be a pretty big issue here on the Weaver.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
VP. You had such a fantastic start to this game one, but Heroic have found their way back into the game after that Roshan attempt. So that one kill into Squadix seems to have made all the difference. Just giving the time for K1, though, to be absolutely fair, this Alchemist has not reached that breaking point quite yet. Squadix, oh, he's caught out again. Squadix is gone. Schofield shows off the Orchid. K1 and Schofield very happy to take another kill onto the puck. It's Heroic, slowly but surely, clawing their way back into this game one. In fact, they might even go for another. Top lane, the group up is there. I mean, there's not really much of an objective to go for, I suppose, but you could look towards that tier 2 top tower. Lines have been drawn around that area, so it seems like that's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, this
tier 2 tower
is starting to build up. Yeah, I'm back. A little bit of a disconnect, a little bit of connection issue. The itemization here from Heroic is lining up now. I'm full ags up for analog, more control to deal with that pesky puck. Squadix having to go back for that BKB, and Kai Assange just not enough to save him. 25% stat resist is nice, but there's a lot of silences coming in now as well. And he has been the opener for VP. They've been starting all of these fights with Squadix just jumping forward, isolating a couple of heroes. Now, Heroic going for that smoke play with that fresh Ags. Big reveal for analog here.
That it is. Down towards south they go.
Dire are scanning. Radiant are scanning.
Now, these silences have been very, very painful here for the puck, as Squadix does not have the greatest time ever since that Orchid came out on Schofield. Still very patient with their position, VP. They're going to see Schofield first, not quite the target they want though. Schofield is going to be able to back his way out, though it seems like Kiritic is going to jump in. He has found himself a Hoodwink. That's one down. Though Squadix does jump in for a Dream Call, finding the puck, but where's the follow-up damage? It's not coming out yet. Meanwhile, Kiritic, he's right onto Devi Llama. He's got complete control over the Cork gun. Kiritic is just taking it down. Devi Llama gone, but now Kiritic gets left behind right underneath the tier 2 tower. VP, I mean, they're still sticking around, still perhaps looking for a fight. They have found themselves Schofield once again, but now the puck's been caught out. Though no, Disruption will save Seiyu. Will give him another chance at life. Has now noticed an FNG both going down. They're still trying to deal with K1. K1 finally dropping here to Squadix. Meanwhile, onto Schofield they go. Though the Aether Remnant may lock him down, but no. Oh, they get the bushwhack. And the silence. The Squadix is down. Not a good fight at all for VP. It's a very prolonged kind of team fight, but you'd have to argue it goes in favor of Heroic.
That it does. You can see the Vailama ping out the damage as well. I'm a little bit surprised Kiritich went all in on trying to duel out the Vailama with Void coming in there as well. Like, you can see just how durable the Vi is. Just with a plate mail up. There's not enough output to kill him off ASAP. He was in a very forward position without the backing of his team. There's no easy way for FNG to come in with a black hole as well without a blink up and BKB. So options were limited. And you expressed that in that patience there from VP earlier on. They start that fight jumping Schofield. And they forced the buyback, but the collapse afterwards, the follow-through just wasn't there.
Oh, now they'll kill off FNG and the Enigma. So an extra kill coming the way of Heroic. Divine Llama handing the tips over to KJ. Yeah, I mean, VP, you know, it's just... The start they had to this game one was fantastic. But I am now at this stage starting to question, you know, the effect of this ALC pick. Like, well, what's it actually doing now, John? Still top of the net worth board, but does it have enough? Like, Kiritich, he was very confident in that last team fight to jump in on his own. Obviously, that did not pay off in the end.
You know, I think this will pay off. Yeah, okay. It does. You know why? Because of puck-free Ags saves this game. The Dream Coil machine gun with Parasma? Sure, Parasma costs a little bit more. You're dragging the game slow anyway. And that potential for Squadix to have BKB free Ags plus Parasma is scary. And Kiritich is reaching that point where he's going to be fully slotted up. After the Abyssal, he can start to consider giving these Ags away. Maybe look for the Blink upgrade first. But honestly, going into Squadix to kind of be disruptive in the middle of all of this is going to be a big part. Heck, even a free Ags for Notice could be big as well. AoE Doom on hand is scary. So I think that's where it starts to get a lot more utility as well. Sure, your ALC timing kind of drops off just a little bit. But all of this utility from your other cores is still massive to consider. And that keeps VP in the game. We'll see. We haven't seen the biggest black holes either from FNG. Still has a lot of room to grow with Black Hole Trap and the Blink. Down the line, Blink BKB still being queued up. Long ways off for our Enigma. Long smoke around here from VP.
I mean, they are headed the right direction though, aren't they? K1 and Schofield, they are in position to break the smoke though, and they will. Schofield down already. K1 will be the next target, and K1 does not look like he's going to make it out. He'll get bashed by Kiritich and definitely goes down. So at least it's only your support duo you're losing. You don't end up losing K1, who was farming that area. It's still a pretty decent set of kills coming out here for VP. They'll even fight the tier 1 top tower while they're at it. Oh, you could probably still stick around for the tier 2 as well if you really wanted, but it seems like they will back their way out.
Yeah, no need to pressure too hard here on the side of VP. The big part for Heroic right now is this vision game they've set up for themselves has made it a little bit harder for VP to play their game. Like, they've got some good wards being put up. FNG does have the gem at least to cut off that top jungle ward, which gave a lot of info out. I think for the side of Heroic, you're really going to have to try to connect. Like, your team fight's strong as well. You've got the Ags for quite a long time now in the Vailama. The Torrent Storm can be obnoxious, especially as the BKB start to wither down to their 6-second charge and their 7-second charge. So you have some good play left in the tank here as they find Hector.
K1 able to time lapse away for now. Chase is still on though. FNG right behind him, but just unable to keep up with the Weaver. Unable to lock the Weaver down quite long enough that time. And see, it is quite hard with the Lincolns up on K1. You don't want to just throw the Doom away for nothing. It seems though Heroic, they're more than happy to group up, knowing the position of VP. They can go right after the Roshan once again. Keep in mind, of course, this time Roshan will roar. So you will have information that this is happening here on Heroic's end of things, but whether VP can get there in time is the question. They are running there now. But Roshan's already less than half than HP. I don't think they're going to make it.
No. Just falls way too fast. They could try for the follow-up fight. Like, this is a very tight position. FNG can look for that control along with the Dream Coil here.
They're going to go to crack, it looks like. Heroic, though, getting in position to try and go for that fight, as Notice does have his smoke broken. Schofield going to check around with the Acorn shot, does see them now. So I do not believe this is the fight VP want. They will retreat for now, though they are running towards the wrong base. So they will just clear out the creep wave while they have a chance, and they will stick around, perhaps still looking for an opening here up against Heroic.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Say you will lose his courier to K1. It seems like VP, they'll just stick around and just keep pushing out the creep wave. Just don't give a chance for Heroic to push out that top lane. Instead, the Heroic have already left the area. They're down towards the bottom side of the map now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
VP, they will follow them though. VP jump in, they'll find the Void Spirit. Analog getting caught out already with the Doom and the Dream Coil is certainly just dead. They want more. In fact, Kiritich looking for Divine Llama. Divine, he was stunned up there for a moment, but is successfully going to be able to walk his way out.
Dire's structure.
It's still a very nice kill though. You get Analog for your trouble.
Popping that Void Spirit is a pretty big win. I mean, we're setting up for the follow-up fight.
Okay,
Not going to be able to follow. Oh,
Okay, one. He will time-lapse away. He'll make it, but it was a little bit too close for comfort, I'd argue.
a little bit on the edge. Don't have the Dream Coil fully locked, although.
Noticed he's going to avoid the sharpshooter. Now goes on to K1, who does get stunned up. K1 playing really on the edge. Will lose the Aegis. That's his first life. Kiritich looking for another. Will wait for the respawn. FNG looking for a black hole. Will not see the opening quite yet, though. Will retreat once again. So instead, they'll go after Schofield, taking down the Hoodwink. FNG still being targeted. Just throws the black hole out. Looking to get something before he dies. Does lock down KJ, though KJ's going to go for a run of his own. TP away. Disruption is available, but Stayu, he couldn't quite get it off in time. I believe he was within the fog behind that tree.
Oh, it looks so awkward from the God camera we have. But really good positioning to bait out, find those kills here for Heroic. Baiting out the black hole, pretty big. Not that they've really utilized it anyway on VP. That is still a big tool in, say, the high ground defense taken away here now. Sure, you don't have the Aegis to play with. You still have the cheese for Analog to play up front. Now the high ground is definitely a possibility. You don't have to worry about that big teamfight control in the choke point. You do have Dream Coil back up for Squadix, but it's not like he has something like his Ags. They've been using that for pickoffs as well. Very reliant on these ultimates to just get that hard lockdown onto Analog or Hector. So, gonna be a little bit rougher for the next few minutes. Heroic not looking to fully push in as well. On the side of VP, it looks like Kiritich is considering the overwhelming blink first before starting to think about, say, the Ags upgrades that can come out here. You don't quite have that full Parasma up anyway for Squadix just yet. That is going to be another timer to think about. And I think as this game scales on to late, it gets really interesting when you have to kind of consider all of these factors. The level 25 of Puck with Dream Coil piercing debuffing these big spells to get the jump.
Yeah, they do. KJ gonna get the Glimmer Cape off for now. Will walk his way out, though there is more incoming. It seems as though they want to try and perhaps turn back onto Kiritich. K1 will move his way in onto Notice now. Notice popping his BKB and does get the Doom off onto the Weaver. K1 trying to remove himself from the scenario now, but Kiritich moving his way in onto the Weaver does secure the kill. Though they are still picking up heroes here on the side of VP. They'll find themselves the Shadow Demon. Kiritich, though, and Squadix able to take down Schofield as now Kiritich moving back in, trying to find Analog, moves on to Divine Llama, but he's getting taken out. So the Alchemist just kited around the whole team fight. Could not lock anyone down. FNG not able to get out either. A beautiful torrent for Divine Llama. The Alchemist, I mean, this is kind of the weak point now, John. He's just unable to actually lock anyone down long enough to get a big kill for himself, and they got the Weaver, but it seems that they've got bigger fish to worry about.
And again, that fight just was a little bit too split apart for VP this time, trying to chase the Weaver as it ran away, taking away that Alch from the rest of the heroes in the back, and just splitting up way too hard. Like, even this Radiance doesn't do enough to save you. Sure, you're dodging the hits from melee heroes, but if with just the damage from KJ standing back, he doesn't care for the Radiance burn. He outranges the Radiance. So you're not having to deal with that burn and the missed chance as well. And it just causes a lot of issues. Full Parasma up for Squadix. Just needs something like the Ags, if he is considering something like that. They have managed to take the range racks. Not the biggest objective to lose on the high ground for VP, so they can hang on. But Heroic, they've rallied back. 3k advantage for VP doesn't count for much, especially considering you have an Alch and Doom. And it just feels like it's stalled out here, the side of VP. Like they've got these tools available, but these fights feel really scrappy when they jump in. They just instantly have to commit Doom. They instantly have to commit Dream Coil. There's no angle for FNG to find that follow-up. FNG has a blink now, at least, so he might be able to work some angles in. But without the protection of the BKB, it's still pretty dicey for this Enigma to help kind of open up some opportunities here.
Oh, just so many ways to cancel the black hole, but it does feel like you need the blink up to at least give your team a proper chance at this game one now, as well, Heroic are well and truly in control. Skiritic TPing in, prepping for a defense. Noticed has already been X'd up into a torrent here from Divine Llama. Sharpshooter's going to land. He does avoid the Aether Remnant though, and looks like he's going to be just fine. No real problems here for Noticed. But Heroic, I mean, you can kind of see the confidence in this team now. They control most of the map. They'll move into that bottom tier 2 tower, slowly chipping away. At K1, he'll go through the twin gates. He might find himself an FNG Enigma. Will at least find himself a lot of Eidolons. The VP, they are moving towards that area, perhaps looking for a black hole and a Doom to be committed onto this Weaver, but K1, he does retreat at the right moment, so they will not find the Weaver whatsoever.
Yeah. Just manages to scout out with his Manta Illusions as well. They get room to push in that bot tier 2 and start to apply pressure onto the high ground once more. TP's coming in.
Yeah, Analog just happy to move in. Tier 3 tower, they will avoid at least the Dream Core here on the Void Spirit, but they do find the Enchantress, so KJ gonna go down. Squadix though, he has been X'd up. They'll ignore him for now. Instead, K1.
Hector?
K1 gets caught in the mid lane. I'm not really sure why he was alone like that. Maybe just trying to wrap the base, but gets caught with his pants down, and that's a pretty big pickoff.
That's a minute 10 without Weaver. Big opening for VP. They don't even have to commit too much. Like, that did cost Black Hole and FNG, but again, considering the state of game, considering how hard it is for FNG to find a big angle, to have it for the pick-off onto the Weaver, very worthwhile. You still have Doom ready. Dream Coil cooldown, not the longest in the world. You can start to regain some space here. Notice, looking forward to Wisdom Rune Steal. He's managed to snag it away. Nice little pickup as well at this point in the game.
Heritage. Yeah, pretty big pick-off if Analog and Schofield could try for it. I mean, it's not going to be too easy with just them two alone. They're going to find Noticed as well. Noticed actually running right towards them, wanting the fight. Does back his way out. Doesn't care for it any longer.
Oh, Squadix. He's queuing up the Divine. They're going for the Axe next on Kiritic. This is it. If they can hit this timing. The Dream Coil machine gun with Parasma. Oh.
Here we go. Now, this is exactly what we wanted to see.
One of the most vile things you have to deal with in Dota 2. Like, just because I don't know why, but Dream Coil does apply Parasma to everyone. Like, it's independent cooldowns of Parasma. So you are gonna burn. It's not gonna be a fun time. Gonna be able to rip up Roshan as well. They get the free axe here. Swat doesn't need to wait.
Oh, here we go. Axe is up on Squaddy. There you go. Machine Gun Puck is on the way. Well, it is online now. No Divine Rapier, but yeah, quite frankly, John, just with this Axe upgrade, it might be enough to turn the tides of the fights. I don't know if Divines are even necessary right now.
I think the next bit is really the level 25 for Squadix. Like, it does feel necessary to have that debuff immunity pierce. Sure. But beyond that, it's terrifying. Like, this is the point in the game where pucks can just literally carry the game by themselves. It's hard to pin down. High Assange, BKB, Ags upgrade, and then into that 25. It's kind of a nightmare for Heroic. They need to stagger their spell use right and just pin down Squadix while they can.
Looks like for now Heroic's just going to wrap the base. K1 just going to abuse the X-Pack here with Divine Llama to take down a Raintrax down to the bottom lane, and this is something you can do. You know, every time VP is not around to defend their base, just play very safely, just get the X-Pack, and there's not really much VP can do about it if they're not there. Hell, even if they are there, just with the X-Pack alone, it could be very, very hard to actually hold down the Weaver long enough. Especially with the BKB he does have available now. A Black Hole is up and available once again, but really just is not that simple here for VP.
Not yet. BKB's not too far off for FNG. He's gotten a lot of space out in the jungle to just get that build-up. have to say as well, just Squadix having something like the Ancient Guardian, it's just so painful. Like, this is the one neutral I'm kind of surprised is just the way it is. And it's like, it's 100 damage when you're fighting on high ground. It's like, it's kind of insane. Especially what he gets. Like, this is not going to be simple. You almost kind of hope now for Heroic to not have to fight somewhere close to the high ground on your own or on the enemy side, but it just creates a double-edged sword. Like, if you don't want to fight high ground into them, it's like you're not going to be able to make progress on that siege. If you're getting pushed into your own, you certainly want to defend.
So we're going to have a look at the scoreboard there for a second, John. Game's not over though. Game one still definitely underway.
Oh.
Very nice pick-off. Schofield going to get caught out here by Squadix. Yeah, I mean, going back to the Ancient Guardian neutral item you talked about, it's an interesting one, Judge, because I thought high ground was already hard enough.
Yeah,
as it was.
exactly.
But now they put a neutral item in to make it even harder.
Yeah. It's it's interesting, I think is the plainest way I can put it. It's kind of, honestly, kind
one
of
way to put it.
It's one of my most hated. I hate it. I like having it. See, that's the thing. If you're a core, you love having it. If you're on the enemy team, you hate seeing it. It's I don't know why it exists. It's interesting.
And yet it does. VP, smoke out. The wrap through their own triangle, head down towards the south. Into that Radiant jungle they go. Closest target to them right now is going to be KJ, who they do make the jump in on. Squadix, he does not have Dream Coil available, so it's going to be a bit of a slower process on the KJ. In fact, KJ just casually just sprints his way out of there. Of course, we have seen the Ench proving to be very hard-hitting now. Is going to have the MKB up rather soon to boot. So the Ench is basically more of a threat, I'd argue, than most of the heroes in Heroic at this point, just with the amount of impetus damage she can deal.
Yeah, it has been an issue, right? Like, again, the fact that he can stand out of Radiance, meaning that the evasion doesn't really save Kiritich in the middle, takes away a lot of his EHP. Does have his full overwhelming blink, so some more HP to play with at least, and some good damage for the jump in, but he is copping a lot from just the poke here.
It's the Berserk Potion, will get the basic Dispel off, but they go again. Tidal Wave back, Kiritich going to be very cautious. As KJ does just casually remove half his HP pool here on the Alk. This is what I'm saying, like in a big team fight, if KJ is allowed to just stand there and hit people, which he has been allowed to do for most of the fights we've seen, it is not a very fun experience here for VP.
No.
And she's hitting very
Certainly
quickly
not.
too, on top of that.
And he is. You've also got to kind of contend with Hector cutting the creep waves. I mean, it's going to be an issue for both sides. And this is where the game really starts to slow down. The Puck can cut creep waves really nice. The Weaver can as well. You can get into the stalled scenario. And we're kind of there already. You've got the Divine almost ready to buy out here for Squadix. It's clearing out space in the inventory. Looks like he is setting up for it. Sitting right by the secret shop. And there you go. There you go. Let's go,
Beautiful.
Squadix. Let's go.
Here we go.
Oh, the Dream Coil. He's got to land a big one, Mike. It's got to be a lot more than just the support.
You're going to wipe whoever's in there. At the very least, we know that. But certainly a 3, 4, 5-man Dream Call could be the real game decider here for VP and Heroic. The smoke call is out already from FNG. He wants to see it happen. They will hang around that die triangle for now here, VP. Smoke is available on Seiyu. They will pop it. So here we go. They want to show this new Divine Rapier off ASAP here on Squadix. They're running right towards Heroic as well. In fact, they found the Alchemist. Kiritich trying to bait them in already. Does pop the Chemical Rage. Meanwhile, Squadix trying to sneak in from the backside. Has found himself a 3-man. No, it's a 2-man Dream Core being thrown out. He's already found one. He'll find a second. They're on to another. Analog's in trouble. Analog realizing he might have to run it now. FNG, he's in with the black hole. He found 2 of them. Maybe they can find the Alchemist in time, or maybe not. K1 still trying. Does take him down before he does have to run. But Divine Llama now being left behind. You can't save the Kunkka, surely. Divine pops the Bloodstone. It won't matter, though. He is gone. An ultra kill out for Squadix. Almost a perfect team fight as the chase is still on for K1. They want the full wipe. Though K1 is going to be able to get a regen rune and does try to just skip the creep wave in the mid lane, but Notice is going to chase him down. Does get the Doom off. Has found the Weaver. And that should pretty much make it so that K1 is going to go down. At the very least, he cannot split push. And that is a full team up coming out for VP.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, that movement from Hector, though, still cuts off the mid creep wave, so there's no push onto the high ground that can commence here for VP. Well, maybe try to find down bot, but that fight, you can see the effect. Sure, it's a Dream Coil onto the supports, but it's more than enough. You mount that backline so quick, and with a BKB for FNG to play with that black hole, it gives so much more control that VP has been desperately lacking. A great reveal out from VP. Not the cleanest losing Kiritich still, but again, you hold this game out. You've revealed the ace in the hold-off. So they are aware that they need to do something about Squadix. Some additional control. Something has to come out to stop this puck. And it is kind of all in when you've got the Divine sitting there, but that's the point of the game here for VP. They can't rely on Kiritich to just scale up. They need the puck to kind of destroy now. It becomes so hard with this level 25 as well. It's just that debuff immunity piercing Dream Coil with this machine gun effect. It's not easy for Heroic now to angle in. They kind of have to look for pickoffs. Can't afford a big clump up anymore up against the Dream Coil and Black Hole here.
Radiant's bottom tower
It's
is
a
under
very, very
attack.
painful experience for Heroic, that's for sure. Kind of the other side of the coin here is if they kill off Squadix, they've got a free Divine Rapier on their hands. There is that. See, VP probably going to play a little bit more cautiously, knowing that that Divine Rapier cannot be lost. But now even a Refresher Orb available on FNG, going to make life even more challenging for Heroic. Now waiting for perhaps the next Roshan, which will be up in 1 minute and 10 seconds, so not a very long timer. I even noticed that rather Squadix now looking for a Refresher Orb himself, which makes plenty of sense because with 2 Dream Coils, it's going to be almost impossible to take on this fight here against VP. Yeah, they are indeed just going to wait for Roshan. And that's just the key, right? You get the Aegis, you try for high ground. You have double Dream Coils available by that point. You've got double Black Holes already. It's going to be a very, very challenging team fight to try and maneuver here for Heroic. Though they are going to go for the big 5-man smoke. They're going to try. They don't know about the double Black Hole. So you've got to be very wary, but they have no idea yet.
This is make or break. This falls flat for Heroic. High ground gets ripped apart here. Good scan.
Jump in. They're not going to find Squadix yet. They'll eventually see the orb, but Analog has officially missed out. So the big target they really wanted, not going to be quite available to take down any longer. But now Roshan. The pit is theirs to control. And Roshan's up in 3.
Dire are scanning.
Hector gated away though. This could be a little bit dicey with Weaver going for the split push first. They're not quite in position on VP to fully commit just yet. Good vision here from Heroic as well to keep that Roche entrance safe. Fully spawned up. Again, so much on the line with this Roshan. Both sides want the pick off first before committing into the pit. It does still feel better for VP in that pit though. Again, Black Hole, Dream Coil, very confined area. Kiritich.
Jump in, Lotus Orb is going to just bounce the other way, but he has the BKB up. They're trying to Divine Llama, Divine dropping so damn low, he is gone. VP looking to pressure a little bit longer, but we'll find nothing. Back to the Roshan pit they go.
Oh man.
Roshan, it's going to be pretty quick for VP.
Wonder who they give the Ags to. AoE Doom's nice. Honestly, Enigma Ags is also pretty big. To be quite frank with you, I would be happy with either one. I feel like the percent-based damage for FNG is massive, but AoE Doom just sounds like such a easy choice. Still, Notice isn't around. They will hand it to FNG. Is he going to consume it? We'll see. They were being pressured. That split push from Hector did kick in.
Okay, one. He's going to time-lapse back towards the base, but FNG,
into the black hole.
He's going to catch him. FNG's got him. K1. Oh, he does push out the wave, but he has died. Luckily, though, he does have Vibe. And to answer your question, by the way, the Ag's Blessing does get handed to Notice.
Fair. AoE Doom still massive here. So I do appreciate that. Yeah, you can maybe hope that Kiritich... I don't think the game's going to drag on to that point, but Kiritich can still gift out Ags. That's his next way of scaling outside of like Moonshard. So there is that, but not the most important tool. Still a very funny tool though, with a vacuum effect. Might be able to find a good pickoff up top. Notice is all alone with the rest of Heroic lining up, but jumping to Doom is maybe a tougher order. really tanky now for Notice. Pretty hard to pin down.
Oh,
They will try.
with the bushwhack, they will get started. I mean, he is a bit of a tankier boy. He'll get the BKB off. Yule's up as well, but here comes Squadix with the Dream Coil out. He's already onto the edge. Seems like KJ, just with the Invis alone, is going to be able to survive, as we will see a refresh now coming up from Squadix with the Dream Coil. But no. Completely whiffed here from Squadix. Not going to be able to land the secondary Dream Coil. And that was the refresh all being revealed here by the puck.
It is. Pretty massive commitment as well. No secondary BKB, no secondary Dream Coil for a full 2.5 minutes. Not the best of times for the side of VP, but they have Aegis for a little bit longer than that anyway, so they could just sit out a little bit more. Maybe gone for some more safer pickoffs. Notice.
I'll jump in. It's the AoE Doom off. They're going to find Divide with that Divide Llama. It's got to help around the corner, but it seems as though that help is just trying to run away. But no, in fact, they are going to go for the fight. They'll try and chase down the Shadow Demon. However, he'll cheese up. He'll survive for now. Instead, Kiritich running after the Hoodwink, trying to find another support. Disruption out. They'll still survive on Seiyu. Seiyu actually just running out of there. And look, trying to jump in, but Seiyu's still alive. Seiyu makes it out. And look, they want to go down. No, how does this Shadow Demon, how does he make it?
Oh, the Glimmer Capes. Just enough to bail him out. The Demonic Cleanse as well, providing that little bit of extra heal. Just the synchronization from VP to jump into the back and help out afterwards. They didn't have to blow anything major there as well. I mean, Doom's down, but you still have that double black hole ready. The high ground's just going to get torn to shreds with the damage ready on Kiritich and Squadix. Fort fight already forced out. They don't have the secondary fort as they've already lost mid. So this is the racks just for the taking on VP. They've got the buybacks, but they need to find an angle in.
VP, one rack's down. They'll find a mid racks, no problem by the looks of it. K1 not able to really threaten them back, as they will run towards the bottom lane now. There is still a tier 3 tower to be taken out. Kiritich making short work of it. They're onto K1 now. K1 locked down. He's going to try and just look the away. But FNG, he's out with the black hole. He's found two of them again. K1's forced to fly back into the fight. KJ is gone. And look, trying to run FNG. He's going to find another double black hole for FNG. Analog and K1 both gone. The dieback's immediate from both of them. Divine Llama trying to push them away with the tidal wave and the torrent storm, but it doesn't. Ooh, maybe they can find Kiritich. That's the first life. Chemical Rage back up in 6 seconds though, and Kiritich, he does not seem afraid. He'll move on to Schofield. He'll find himself another kill. All racks are down. Now Mega Creeps are online. And I think if you are heroic, you are looking to call GG now, as you just don't have the bodies to throw at VP. They are still trying their absolute best to push them away from their Ancient. They're going to lose KJ once again. Schofield will try to buy back on the Hoodwink, but it's not making the difference. The GG's been called. And VP, I mean, it was looking rather awkward throughout the mid-game, John, but you